For Monday, June 13th. So the first item is general public input. If there is anyone here from the public who wishes to address the council on an issue that is not on tonight's agenda, now is your chance to please come forward.
Terrence Edwards, 172 Long Island, Jerome.
Thank you.
I guess my concern is as I've conveyed to Mr. Hall here in the past, with the refugee situation we have in this community and the Muslim impact, and I guess everybody's aware of what happened in Orlando and what's happened in San Bernardino and what's happened in parts other than here, small communities even. We've been made aware of a situation, an alleged assault of a minor child, and we can't get any information on it. Apparently, it's been indicated that it was the perpetrators were 4 Muslim youth that conducted this, I guess it was a rape, and we've heard that it's consensual, but my concern is there's no such thing as consensual rape of a minor. The police department, as I talked to Mr. Hall about it, that he's adamant that everybody on the police department is good people, and he's looked them in the eye, and those folks are good people and they're peaceful, and the Muslims are peaceful. That's what they said San Bernardino, that's what they've said in other places that we've seen this carried out. And I know that you can't stop everybody and be concerned about it, but when there is a violation of somebody's rights and there's an attack on their personal being, we should be able to be made aware of that. And I think that there's a method of cover-up here in the community. I think it starts with the police department. I think that they have their mouth zipped closed. The media is not getting in on it. We get more information from KMVT than we do from the community at large and the police department. So I'm just alerting you to the facts that if you don't get your head wired to your posterior, you folks are going to be with a mic in front of your face trying to answer questions about Islam, the Quran, the Hadith, the Sunnah, and you're going to act like a bunch of morons because you don't have a clue as what's going on in this community and other communities that are receiving refugees. ISIS is here. The Muslim Brotherhood is here. There's been violations already occurred by Muslims here, and it needs to be addressed, and if you don't address it, there's going to be heck to pay. And it's not by me, but it's by the community. The community is not going to sit around and wait for you guys to get your head and tail wired together. So you need to be leaders, not followers, and not just go to the press and say, oh, we didn't know anything. Oh, we don't have a clue. And if you do have a clue, you ought to have an open house here and tell everybody about it, because we're not getting that information. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your concerns, Mr. Edwards. Don Hall.
Well, since I was listed specifically, we did meet about 1.5 years ago. We discussed the refugee program, and you shared some information with me regarding Islam and the like. It's a mischaracterization to say that I just cover my eyes up and look at people and they're all great people. I know all people have challenges. I just wanted to make sure, and I have no idea what you're talking about on a rape of a young lady by 4 other folks. I don't know what you're talking about there. I don't remember ever talking about that, if that's what you're bringing up.
Idaho's First News has confirmed that a reported sexual assault around the Fawnbrook Apartments in Twin Falls is being investigated by the Twin Falls Police Department. The incident allegedly occurred on June 2nd. Twin Falls County Prosecutor Grant Lopes has confirmed the investigation, but says there will be no charges filed in the case until the investigation is complete. Unconfirmed reports concerning the case are circulating on social media, but no one will comment officially on the case while it is still under investigation.
Good evening. My name is Heather Stroop, 3161 East, 3200 North, Twin Falls. And I own a small business here in Twin Falls, and I've also been a little shaken up by what's happened in Orlando, and mainly because I know what the Islamic influence that has been creeping into Twin Falls has also done. I'm close friends with someone who was spit on in Winco by Islamic women and told that her God was nothing, that Allah was everything. And to me, that's a serious offense. Additionally, there have been hit and runs that obviously we heard about in the news, also by Islamic people, and many other incidences from small to larger. I also have heard about a minor who was attacked in this community. And I have young people of my own that I would like to keep safe. College-age daughter that I would like to keep safe. And I don't feel like I can at this point. I'd like to know if the city council knows where the youths were who perpetrated the crime that was in this community.
Well, again, I'm not aware of a crime that has been reported, and those wouldn't be reported to the city council as
The city council should know where the crime,
Excuse me,
if there's crimes in this
ma'am,
community.
those wouldn't be reported to us as a matter of course. This is the first I've heard of this, with this being brought to our attention this evening. I'm happy to do some follow-up with our law enforcement office to find out if this has been indeed reported. But again, if it is speculation and hearsay throughout the community and there's no filing of a police report, how can there be police action if it's never been reported to them? So I can do the follow-up with that after this meeting. I'm happy to do so. I'm happy to get back with you about it.
As a business owner, if I continue to see, when I came to Twin Falls, I thought it was a wonderful city, a safe city, and my business took off, in fact, like a racehorse. And I have actually been kind of reining it in because I've seen what's been going on in this city. If I do a little advertising, I know my business will grow to the point where I'm overwhelmed and I have to hire people because I know it's a prospering business. But I'm not going to do that if I feel like my family isn't safe here. I'll take my business and go somewhere else. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for sharing your comments and concerns this evening.
Julie Ruff, 2849 Rock Creek Road. It's a little disappointing to hear that you guys don't follow the news. Is that on purpose? Because that's what I'm hearing. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going
So
on. We don't know
again,
what's going on.
I have not heard a news report about allegations
Is that
of a rape
typical?
Ma'am,
But I just want to know if it's
Okay.
typical, and then I'll move on. Is it typical? I mean, you know, if you're a lawyer or you're a judge, you don't want to kind of follow a case because you have to make a court decision. Is that the rules for the council?
so I am telling you, I am not aware of a news story about allegations of an assault against a minor in our community by Islamists.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you all, because this is not a debate forum. I understand that. I totally get that. Where is the forum that we can have a very honest and open discussion?
So if you feel you
Not a
think-
private one, you and I.
Okay, so
Open.
may I answer your question, please?
Yeah. Please do.
If you all would like to request time on the agenda to have a discussion about specific factual items, I'm happy to schedule that. If you want to come to this meeting and talk about your beliefs about Islam and have it be a rehash of the conversation we had in here several months ago, I don't know that there's any productive part of that discussion.
I don't know what conversation you're referring to several months
When
ago.
members of your various groups and people with your positions on the refugees came to this meeting to talk about anti-refugee
Okay,
sentiments.
my primary thing on this piece of paper is what forum can the community go to and say, hey, we have questions? Do we have something established already that I'm unaware of, whether it's by email or by some kind of website that I'm missing, so that I can go and ask, okay, I'm hearing this. Do I right to the department heads, or is there a monthly forum that I'm missing? Is there something that maybe we can set up to open up dialogue in the community?
I would be more than happy to set up a meeting to discuss questions you may have, if you're going to come with questions. So to be honest with you, I have yet to hear a question from any of you this evening.
Okay,
You've
here's
come
my
to
question.
Excuse me, ma'am. You've come to tell us that
I'm
we're
not
not.
telling you anything. I'm asking you a question. I'm actually asking you a question.
Okay.
So, are you aware that there's a lot of pornography on foreigner web pages in Twin Falls that's child pornography?
I am not personally aware of that, but again, if there are specific allegations that you feel crimes are being committed, call the police.
Okay. How about the death of the 17-year-old refugee boy who died suddenly? Do we know why he died? Was he sick? I'm concerned about him just as a person, and I don't know where to find that information, just to find out why did some 17-year-old boy suddenly die?
Okay. Again, I'm not familiar with that case.
And the baby girl found in the diaper bag, who do I go to ask specifically more details about her?
That was found out in the county. I would suggest that you contact the Twin Falls County Sheriff's Office or the prosecutor's office.
Do we know how many additional refugees Twin Falls has received beyond the abstract's 300?
I do not believe we've received more than that, but I would recommend you contact the refugee center and speak to the director there.
Okay.
That's information that they share very freely.
Do we know why the mosque received a permit in a day?
I don't know what the time frame was of those building permit issues, but certainly contacting our building department
I
and discussing
actually
that.
have, and I'm not getting anywhere with
And
that.
then-
That's
and
fine
then-
here.
Okay.
Let's see, what else do I have on here?
So Julie, here's what I would recommend. If you have written questions that you would like answers to, I'm happy to go follow up on those. I am not going to have those answers off the top of my head sitting here this evening.
Shall I email you all my questions?
That would be great, or you're
Great.
welcome to just give me a written copy of them now if you already have them printed out.
Well, you won't be able to read my handwriting
Okay,
if I
then
hand it to
emailing
you.
them to me would be fantastic.
Perfect.
And-
you will
and
reply, or
I-
you'll just
I will-
direct me to all the offices I need to talk to?
I will certainly do my best to find the answers for you or direct you to those that can give you that information.
Okay.
And again, if you all would like to schedule some follow-up to have those answers discussed in a public forum, I'm happy to get that on an agenda in the coming months, because you have to understand.
I guess we just figured you'd know. I mean, honestly, we just figured you'd know.
This is a giant operation
No.
of city government. We are not aware of every single bit of minutia that occurs here.
Can I encourage you, though, just as a citizen, to possibly come up with something that's more of an open forum, or maybe a public forum of some kind, to just open dialogue up? Because we're not, you might look at us and think that we're some kind of a coalition of weirdos, and actually, there's professionals, there's business owners, there's college graduates. We're not just a bunch of weird people. We're people that are living here in this community paying our taxes. We're nationals of somewhere in the United States or Idaho. And we have, what we feel anyway, are legitimate concerns. And people are coming saying, what's up with this, what's up with that? Who wants to go, I don't know. I mean, obviously you guys know it's not comfortable when somebody's questioning you about something that's serious and you don't know. So we would like to be able to say, okay, Bob, here's the answer to this. Go here and find out the answer to this.
So if you'll share your questions with me, I'm happy to do that. I would also say, so last fall, we actually had a very large community forum to discuss many of these issues.
That
at
wasn't so
CSI.
much an open discussion, and I actually talked to them in a private meeting before that. So another question that I have is, I think you were referring to the February 22nd meeting where people just from the community
I was
ran
talking
and
about
shut
the
up.
Times News forum that was
Before
held
that.
last fall.
You're-
Yes, I was talking about the
Okay.
discussion we had here.
There were 10 individuals that stood up and told you this is not a good idea. We didn't even know each other. Many of us did not know each other, so it wasn't a coalition of, hey, you say this and I'll say that. It's not how it works. Coming in here saying, I believe everybody had an opinion of saying this is not the time. These issues aren't being addressed. In other words, this is not the time to support more of the refugee or put more taxes towards the program.
And again, not to rehash that whole issue in February, but one, none of your tax dollars were being spent on that.
Grants-
Two, that
grants do.
That actually was not your tax dollars being spent on that. It was a private foundation that was being applied to funds for. Secondly, It was not about bringing more refugees to the community. It was about being involved in a community discussion, much like you are requesting that we have.
Right. Except for, I guess my question there is that it was in a unanimous vote when, in fact, the majority stood up and said, no, we can't support this as community.
Well, again, I'm not going to rehash something that we already made a decision on in February this
Okay,
evening.
well, I'm just, thought I'd bring that up.
I appreciate it.
But those are our, my personal issues, and I actually have many more than that, but obviously I've talked beyond the, I think, 3 minutes.
So I'll look forward to seeing your specific questions, and we'll do
I
what
don't
we
think
can.
you'll look forward to it, but you'll do it. Thank you.
Chris Dockington.
Ma'am, I'd like to get a little clarification. I'm confused. You say you don't know each other and you're disorganized, and yet you spoke as a group. Are you a group, or are you happen to come in here
I know
all the
some
same?
of these people more than others.
Or I'm
Obviously,
speaking
one's my
right now.
sister.
I'll give you your chance. Or did you come in here by happenstance all at the same time? Do you have a name of your group or something that we can see what kind of membership it contains? How many people?
I'm here as an individual, as a citizen, with serious questions, which I would take somewhere else if I knew exactly where to take
Okay, well,
them.
you haven't answered my question. Are you representing or part of
No,
a
I'm
group
here as
that's
an
larger that
individual.
we could kind of get an idea how many there are?
I'm here as an individual. But when I was referencing the fact that we spoke on February 22nd, many of those people I did not know, had no relationship with. So we did not call each other prior and say, hey, get down there, let's
You
say
just
this.
happened to show up the same night.
Yes, we did.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, that was the
I know
meeting
that
I
seems
recall.
crazy, but some people actually follow what's going on. And then sometimes your friend calls you and said, did you see that? But no, we didn't come here together as a group on that night.
That was the night one of the last speakers, might have been the very last speaker, a woman who called for preservation of the white race. Is that what you're standing for?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
She said that in the microphone. It was recorded.
Well, it certainly would not be my perspective.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Don Hall.
No, that's just a comment. I think it's best for folks when they come in front of the city council. Certainly, this is an open discussion at the beginning, but if you have some questions, specific questions, to be fair to us, just like we would be fair to you, is to bring those questions to us so we can research them. A couple things that you brought up this evening, I don't have a clue. I had not read it in the newspaper. I tend to watch the news quite a bit.
Good.
Okay. I try to keep track of the issues because I feel that that's a responsibility as a citizen. But I'm not aware of some of the things that you brought up. And I would just suggest bringing those questions to us so we can research them to find out.
That'd be
Because
great.
that's no knowledge of it. And in our meetings prior, we've had a couple meetings, Julie, where you brought me some questions. I researched them, and I brought you back answers.
Yes, you did.
And what we really look for in questions or thoughts or concerns in the community is I look for something actionable, something if you can have conjecture and say, this is going on, but let's look at the specifics of where it's going on, when did it take place, those kind of things, so that we can have folks research it and do a good job and figure it out. Blanket statements don't work very well unless we have specifics. A couple issues that you brought up, we researched and we found out. We've done research on the whole permitting process of the mosque, the Islamic Faith Center out there. And we have that blow by blow of exactly how all that worked. We can provide that for you. I thought that I had done that, but if I hadn't,
you
that's my
hadn't.
fault. Because we researched
Well,
it
you
to
know
find
that
that
my
out.
husband is a builder. Several of you know that.
Right.
It takes about 2 weeks to get a house permit. So to see the Times News actually announce permit in a day, of course it's going to raise questions, right?
Yeah, I'm not.
And I've researched it, and I know other people have too, and nobody's really finding an answer.
We can find that answer
That
for
would be
you.
awesome, because I
Sure.
think we deserve that as a community. to
Well,
be able to
frankly, I
answer that.
remember reading through the whole document because they gave me the timeline of exactly how that whole thing took place. One of the questions you had is that they were going to have a calling tower. We found out they were not going to have a calling tower. And if they did have a calling tower, it would have to be by special use permit, and no special use permit was drawn or asked for.
But
So
they do
these
actually
are
have one on the plan.
What's
So
that?
They did have one on the plan.
Not that we see. Nothing that came in front of the building department that we have any knowledge for. If they have something other than that, they still would need to go through the process with the city to get a special use permit for that, and I would assume that that would be fairly controversial since that's right in the middle of the neighborhood.
I would think so.
Yeah. So I think that public hearing would be,
More heated than this?
I'm not going to say heated, it would be interesting. Let's just say that.
Right. Well, thanks for your time, even though it's not always easy, but thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Howdy. Nolan Stroop, Twin Falls, Idaho, 3161 East, 3200 North. I actually have the news article about that alleged sexual assault, if you want me to leave it here for you, since none of you had heard about it. I can leave it here on the podium or bring it to one of you.
That'd be great.
But it was in the news, and KMVT confirmed that it was a reported sexual assault. So it has been before the police already. But I did have a legitimate question. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of concern among citizens about refugee resettlement. I mean, that's undeniable. We're concerned. What's Twin Falls City doing about these people's concerns? Because there's people who are legitimately scared. What's Twin Falls City doing? The essence that I'm getting out of you guys is, kind of lackadaisical. You're kind of sitting there, don't really care a whole lot. That's kind of the essence that I'm getting. It's like you don't really care about our issues.
So actually, Mr. Stroop, we've given you 25 minutes of our agenda this evening to discuss this issue that wasn't on the agenda in the first place. And with all due
This is
respect,
open discussion.
with all due respect, I think that is giving you time and an opportunity to air this out.
Right,
And
and
in
that's
all
why we're all
honesty,
here.
I don't appreciate the lack of respect that I feel we're being given, calling us lackadaisical and laid back about this. So again, this is an open forum, and I look forward to having some discussion about it. But I also want you to understand that there needs to be a level of decorum in this forum here. So I appreciate you bringing the concerns. Related to the actual refugee resettlement program, I'll remind all of you that that program is not a function of the city of Twin Falls. It is a function of the federal government. It is managed by the College of Southern Idaho here under the guidance of a state office. We are certainly in communication with those folks about the program that takes place in our community, and we will continue to have ongoing discussions with them. But the city of Twin Falls is in no position to say yes or no, this program will or won't happen unilaterally. And we are in discussion with those other organizations that certainly have heard the same concerns that you're expressing here this evening. And I would encourage you to understand the program by speaking to those who operate it as well.
I'm not asking you to try and stop the program. I know that you don't have authority over that. My question was posed as, what is the Twin Falls City doing to make its residents feel safe? Because whether or not this refugee program is part of the federal government, they're bringing them into Twin Falls City. This is very much my issue as it is all your issues. So what's Twin Falls City doing to make sure its residents feel safe and are safe?
The city of Twin Falls provides service to all of its citizens, whether
We
they are
understand that.
whether they are of Muslim faith or Christian faith or no faith at all. And those are the things that we are doing to keep this community safe.
Is providing service?
Yes, but what suggestions might you have that we need to be doing to make you feel safer?
Personally, it's not my safety issue. Well, it is my safety issue, but I don't feel scared. There are a lot of people in the community who do because of incidences like San Bernardino. One of the shooters there was a refugee. I feel like Twin Falls should be, I'm not a racist or white supremacist, but this should be profiling. It works. I mean, if the last 2 mass shootings have been committed by Muslims, why aren't we profiling Muslims? It makes sense, doesn't it? Here's a niche like white supremacists. We're profiling white supremacists. If somebody's a skinhead and got a swastika tattoo, we're profiling them. Correct?
Don't know.
I don't work in law enforcement in the city. To be honest, as an American, I hope that's not happening because I think that infringes upon everybody's freedoms. So I understand there are further questions here that I don't think we're going to get aired out in the open forum this evening.
Doesn't seem like it.
So what I would like to do is schedule for a future meeting an opportunity for you all to bring these questions and for us to have some experts who actually deal with this on a regular basis to be able to answer your questions. Because right now, I don't think we have the answers to the questions that you are going to continue to ask.
And we love that. Does anybody want this news article?
Yes, please. You can just leave it with the deputy senior managers there. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.